That was a good horse. Don't feed autumn eggplants to your wife.
You know, if a woman has a little bit of curves, you're like, she's gonna make it through the winter. That is not a German potato. It smells a bit like poop. Hey, podcast kittens, it's Cathy Cat.
And Ladybeard coming at you with another paper clipping installment of
Cat with
Beard. We have made it through the summer, my friends.
Summer's over.
Sadly, my dear friend Summer, the warmer months when I feel more happy and at home than any other time of the year, has decided for another several months he's gonna go back into hibernation and leave us with the horrors of the frost.
But not yet. It's not that cold yet. We're going for autumn first before we go.
Cold, raining,
Oh,
sorry. So I have just before we continue, I have a shoe curse. For some reason, whenever I buy shoes, my shoes can't keep the rain out.
Oh.
So when it rains, but it's always really weird because like one foot will remain dry and the other foot will get totally soaked.
Do you have like a sharp toe that pokes through
I
your
don't
shoe?
know, man. I don't know why I have this shoe curse, but I can't keep my feet dry. But that means anytime I get caught in the rain, it means my feet get all wet, so my socks get all wet, and I walk around with wet feet, and then I get sick.
Worst thing, yep.
It's very upsetting. I don't know how to get... When I first got here, I found some waterproof shoes. They were very helpful, but then they discontinued them. I don't know how to keep my feet dry.
Gotta find some better shoes for Ladybeard. Hashtag shoes for Ladybeard.
Yeah, send a link, please. That'd be real helpful.
Yeah, in the YouTube, put a link for waterproof shoes on Amazon Japan, not your country.
I got some galoshes, like rain boots, but they're really horrible to walk in, you see.
Yeah, they're not the best now.
Anyway, sorry, what are we talking about today?
It's the rainy season, or it's the season generally when everything is getting colder in Japan, but there's some real cool and fun things to do in the season. Actually,
autumn.
Japanese people love autumn.
The autumn, the fall!
A lot of things happen in autumn/fall here in Japan, and this is the foodie version of celebrating autumn. So this is all going to focus on what is great and juicy and tasty in autumn. Japanese people are the biggest foodies I've ever met.
Yeah, really, they love it. We went through that before, how it's their favorite thing compared with the other countries.
Yep.
Everyone else loves to get up to other activities, but the Japanese just eating.
Yeah, abroad people love, generally some intimate intercourses. But Japan's number one is food, and they live it up in autumn. You want to be here in autumn and do some of the foodie tastings. So if you're a big foodie, listen up. This is your episode for you because we're going to go into all the foodiness. First of all, autumn in Japan is called Shokuyoku no Aki, the autumn of appetite. So that's literally a lot of things are going around the topic of food and eating and all of that. So it's pretty much the let's eat tasty things season, the season of food.
I guess we've just gone through summer, which is like harvest season, isn't it?
It is.
So you pulled all your things out of the ground now.
Yeah, yes, now is harvest season in
There's
Japan
a bunch of particular vegetables that will only grow and be harvested in the autumn. So you got to eat them in the autumn. That's your only chance. And of course, you got to stock up on the old fat cells to keep you through the winter.
Exactly. Also, we get less sunlight now.
Yeah, you got no serotonin.
So all the you have less of that happy natural feeling from the sunlight. So you're more likely to also want to eat. And let's be honest, I feel the more the temperatures drop, the tastier things suddenly get. In summer, it's so hot. You're like, oh gosh, I can't eat that right now. And now we're going to the colder temperatures and suddenly just a bowl of rice tastes so good. Oh, those heavy carbs suddenly are delicious.
Yep. That's the old love handle on a giddy. Pack on the kilos with that one.
Exactly. So it's pretty much, this is the season to gain weight so you'll survive the winter. In a way, I think
that's the way to do it.
I mean, it used to also be you could only eat the autumn vegetables during autumn. But it's also the thought of that. The fresher it's harvested, the tastier it is right now. So a lot of things are tasty now.
In this generation, we have, science. We have greenhouses, so you can make autumn things all year round. But nonetheless, you're going to pull them straight out of the ground. Only autumn is your only choice. What are some autumn things we can eat in Japan?
In Japan, tons and tons. We have fruits, such as like different types of pears. We have persimmons.
Persimmon or persimmon, depending how you want to pronounce it. Those things are delicious. You like those?
Yeah, they're good. They're all right.
I smash them. That's my favorite thing about the autumn. When it comes around, they have the persimmons in the supermarket, and I mangle them, man. I eat so many of them, knowing I won't get another chance for another year. So I hit them as hard as I can.
Dude,
great.
They're great. And also there's the ginnan.
Yeah, the freaking ginnas.
The ginkgo fruit.
How to explain this? It's okay. There's a particular seed thingamajig, seed fruit thingo, and it grows on a particular tree. And it falls
on the ginkgo tree. Yep.
And it smells like feces.
It smells so bad.
A little bit like someone went to the loo but didn't press flush. So just walking around the street, you have them, and then you get them on your shoes. So you take them into your house. You're like, the place smells like feces.
It smells a bit like poop.
You sit there eating your persimmon, happy with that part, but your room smells like feces.
It's not so nice the smell, but apparently the taste is fine. Again, that's another autumn fruit, but generally also rice will have been freshly harvested. Good. Rice will be really, really tasty. People do emphasize that, and people go like, "What is usually dry?" Da 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 da. It's said, because it's been harvested so recently, it's tasty.
The La France. Don't forget the La France.
The La France.
I don't know what that thing is. What is that thing?
It's also a type of pear, really.
All right, very good. Pears and apples, or particular pears and apples. In the autumn time, the fish. You can have a little bit of the old salmon or Pacific sorry. They're out and about in the autumn.
All the good things. And then we have tons and tons of different types of mushrooms that are in season right now. So if you go anywhere right now, you might get a miso soup as usual in the same restaurant, but certainly you see some mushrooms pop out of that miso soup each time. Also, Japanese people during that time love their sweet potatoes.
Oh, yeah.
It's literally autumn, bam, everything is sweet potato themed.
But how awesome are those sweet potatoes? They're so delicious.
They're tasty.
People drive around the neighborhood with like a truck grilled sweet potatoes. And you buy them from the old man. Playing this song. Please keep singing, please.
How does it go again?
I don't even know.
It's literally just the track that says, Imoya, like potatoes.
It says something else, does it? It says something that's oishi so, it's good for your health, something like that. An old man in a truck will go around the neighborhood and he has this it's a loud speaker screaming out this song. And you can buy a sweet potato from it.
Yep. And he will just have them like nicely roasted for some time and they're actually sweet.
They are delicious. What about the chestnuts? There's a chestnut lady.
It is also chestnut season, people, and also a lot of that means also a lot of Mont Blanc desserts.
Mont Blanc? What's that?
Mont Blanc. That's like chestnut paste. Oh. It looks like spaghettis on top of desserts.
Oh, yes. Is that what that is?
Yes, that's Mont Blanc.
Is that a French word, Mont Blanc?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
so the dessert comes originally from France, and then there was someone who imported it slowly to Japan. Now we have Mont Blanc in Japan. So it's pretty much bam, Mont Blanc and sweet potato season for all sweets and treats right now.
Good job, French.
Everything will be sweet potato themed, even ice cream.
It's delicious. Yeah, it's delicious actually. Yeah.
In Germany, autumn is like when like there might be the last bits of like beer festivals, but it's gonna start getting really quickly very cold in Germany, so there's not so much happening in autumn. How does your autumn look? When is your autumn?
Awesome, after summer.
But I mean like in which month?
March, April.
So you get autumn in March, April.
Yeah. It's lovely actually. In my city, in Adelaide, we call March Mad March because all the festivals happen in March. Oh. It's a very quiet city all throughout the year, except for March when everything happens all at once.
Is that because it's like a temperature to have
parties? Nice weather for it. It's cooled down after summer, and but it's not cold yet, and it doesn't rain all that much in March, so it's a good time to get outside and have festivals. We have all our festivals happen in March.
So all the fun happens in March in Australia.
In old Adelaide. No, I'm not sure. I think it's Adelaide. I'm not sure about the rest of the country.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we know where to go if you're in Australia in autumn. Adelaide. But we're going to tell you more what to do in autumn in Japan. There are some famous Japanese sayings. So autumn is so famous that a lot of sayings. So for example, one of them was shokuyoku no aki, meaning the autumn of appetite. There's more. So we have tentakaku uma koyuryu aki, which means
autumn is the season when the sky is high and horses become fat.
Which actually translate to It's just the good weather and good harvest.
Yeah.
Yeah, and not just the horses or the people also try and get fat, I guess.
I love a nice fat horse.
Yeah.
Oh, plumpy ding.
Oh.
I've been eating. That was a good horse.
Thanks.
Do that again? That was a good horse. That was a good horse. Cathy Cat does a good horse.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're
Now do a
welcome.
fatter horse.
See, that's it.
That sounds like a horse who's about to fall off the tree. It's like,
I was
oh.
eating a lot of all that wonderful fattening items that we're talking about.
What do we got next?
サンマ食べればあんま引っ込む.
Eat the autumn Pacific Sorry, and the doctor will no longer be necessary.
Oh, right. So, like, you know, all the fatty and tasty food, make sure you make it through winter. I mean, that's a very German saying of like, you know, if a woman has a little bit of curves, you're like, she's gonna make it through the winter. It's a good thing.
No, yeah? That's good. Yeah.
You need a couple of a little bit of something to hold on so she makes it through winter because Germans' winters are very tough, and in Japan they're also very, very tough.
Well, my mom used to say, well, you'll survive longest in the Arctic.
Oh, harsh. Oh my God. That is harsh. Oh my God. Wait, let's go straight to other topics.
Here we go. This next one is brilliant. Here
The
we
next
go.
one, okay. 秋ナスは嫁に食わすな.
Don't feed autumn eggplants to your wife.
Why is your wife not allowed to eat autumn eggplants?
Well, because allegedly these autumn eggplants, they contain a lot of toxic alkaloids, and they can be potentially harmful to your health. So you shouldn't feed too many of them to your wife.
Yeah.
It is. But it's quite, especially if she's up the duff, especially if she's carrying another human inside her. You don't want these acidic toxins entering her body.
Exactly.
Because it'd be bad for everyone. It is quite nice in some ways that the idea of don't feed too much XYZ to your wife is not just because we don't want her getting fat, do you?
It's more to make sure the infant in her stomach makes it through the winter as well.
Oh,
Even
mate.
though those are supposed to be so tasty, that's why they're saying please don't give too many to your wife because they're tasty.
See.
Might be too much though if she's
Don't
she
give
was a
any to
child.
your greedy, hungry wife.
And it's also said that because they're so cold, they might cool down her body too much. Shouldn't be happening. So
Cool down her body too much.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
I
idea is especially if a woman is with child, she's supposed to keep her body warm.
Is that right?
That kind of stuff. So another reason apparently.
Well, she's with child. I like how you said that.
That's the way of saying it, isn't it?
That's old school, isn't it?
The old school eloquent way.
I am with child. She's carrying. If a female is carrying.
Anyways, next
Has she got a bun in the oven? That's another way of saying it.
Yep, that one. Anyways,
Alright.
if she has a bun in the oven, don't feed her too many eggplants.
Have an eggplant flavored bun when it comes out. You don't need that. All right, let's move on. Autumn food festivals.
There is the Ninamesai.
Yep.
What's that?
It was this old ceremony when the emperor would offer all these freshly harvested grains and so forth up to the old Tenjin Chigi, which are the Japanese gods of nature, to give thanks and so forth.
On the 23rd of November, that
That's
usually
the
happens
one.
at the Imperial Palace.
That's the one.
And is also celebrated at shrines throughout the year. It's a big festival.
Make a sacrifice those freshly harvested grains.
As far as I understand it, please correct me if that's wrong, but they don't just offer it to the gods. The emperor will also afterwards eat it.
Oh, right, okay.
So kind of like you offer it, but then you also eat it yourself,
that's
correct?
good.
Good. So it's nothing's wasted. It's not just standing around.
Oh, well, look, you can literally have your cake and eat it too. The gods can have their cake and you can eat it too.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of, I think, cultures and festivals celebrating a good harvest in Japan because it's a big farmers nation. So there's a lot of harvest celebrations.
I think all over the world, like in Europe, all those pagan festivals were about the harvest and whatnot.
Yeah, and then there's like, I think in the US it's be like Thanksgiving also. It has other backgrounds too, but it is during the harvest season when everyone comes together to eat. There's a lot of let's come together and eat and festivals.
Consume. It's fair enough.
Make sure we all make it through the cold winters, I guess.
Yeah, important.
But yeah, you let us know what you're celebrating and why your culture is celebrating it as
traditionally, there was a high risk of not making it through the winter, wasn't there?
I mean, Japanese winters can be so rough if you've been to the colder areas. They have snow walls that are taller than double-decker buses.
Oh, mate, really?
There are roads that are completely like places that you can't even properly get to in winter.
Really?
So
That's
depending
sad.
on the higher you go up north, the tougher the winters are. So you better layer up a little bit to make that through the cold season.
Yeah, well, fair income.
Mm.
Northern Hemisphere winters in general, I think, are rough.
Well, tough.
I feel like you got it harder than the Southern Hemisphere, I reckon, in terms of your winters. Except if you go all the way down to Argentina or something like that. But like, you know, Aussie winter, it just rains and it's grey and it's cold, but it doesn't go sub-zero, at least not in Adelaide, not where I'm from.
No snow?
Maybe down in Tasmania, I think they get sub-zero. And we have one small bit of the country where there's snow. But generally. But like in the Northern Hemisphere, just like in Tokyo, you go outside in the winter, everything's dead. Like all the trees are just Halloween-y, skeleton-y trees covered in snow. And you really do, as a Southern Hemispherian, like once you start spending winters in Japan, you really do go, okay, well, I understand why this was so concerning traditionally and how people would, you know, not survive this. There's just no life.
And even the Tokyo winters are not that bad. If it at all snows, it barely snows in Tokyo.
You
it's
reckon?
Usually a little winter. Yeah, it's usually a little miracle in winter when it snows because it usually snows for one night and maybe doesn't even stay till the morning in Tokyo. But the more you go up north, the tougher the whole thing is.
Yeah, if you go up north, you go to Hokkaido and then see you later.
It's seriously, or like you go to like areas like Aomori and such where it can really, really get tough and cold. You need to stay warm there.
All the houses have those doors on the second floor so that if there's a huge snowfall and you can't open your front door, you can exit the house via your first floor door.
Wow, which area is that?
Oh, everywhere up north. Sometimes you see those houses in Tokyo, sometimes.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I have to check that out.
Yeah.
But we're still staying a little bit with food.
Yeah, sorry, we
There's
changed
more
topic,
about food because this is our foodie episode. We're going to have another one about traveling in autumn as well, but this is the foodie episode.
You can go to Nakano and you can go to the old Lamb in Paradise Festival.
Exactly. Nakano calls almost every second thing Festa.
Yeah, which is
also,
good.
when they do Oktoberfest in May, I'm still salty about that. It's Oktoberfest.
Do they? God bless them. It's
Their
brilliant.
Oktoberfest is like in May. I'm like, it says October in the title. What did you not read?
What are we in now? October, November, something like that.
We're October, November now. Now it's
Oktoberfest
fine.
should be now. Hey, we're going to wait
should
till
be
May
now.
for Oktoberfest.
Where are all the Oktoberfests
That's
now, please?
brilliant.
Tokyo celebrates Oktoberfest. Feeling-wise, I felt like every month, apart from October, where are the Oktoberfests now, please?
I love it so much. So yeah, Nakano, you can go to the Lamb in Paradise. That's just basically you eat a lot of lamb and there's some wool. You can buy some wool as well.
The beginning of November, so it's lamb is not as common in Japan. It's actually just a posh, kind of rare thing to eat. So if you see some lamb, it's rare. So that's probably what's also like a thing that brings everyone to the yacht in Nakano.
In Germany, you guys eat a lot of lamb?
More than in Japan, I would say, yes.
In Australia,
definitely.
we smash it.
We
We've got sheep everywhere, right? So we eat a lot of lamb.
Yeah, no, it's a bit rare in Japan. It's also kind of pricey in Japan.
It is pricey in Japan, isn't it?
It's not cheap, yeah. Lamb is not cheap.
Sheepless nation.
Next event.
Tsukiji.
The Aki Matsuri. Tsukiji, you know, from the fish market. So there's also an autumn food celebration. That's also, again, first week of November. This time is the 3rd and the 4th.
You can go enjoy barbecue on the rooftop, which is very nice. And you can learn all about healthy eating habits.
Yum,
It's
yum,
an educational festival, which is
yum,
lovely.
Yum, yum, yum.
Pretty nice, all things considered, isn't it?
Yep. So autumn-wise, there are just some things you can only eat right now, and I would take advantage of them. Yes, they're generally a little bit more on the comfort food side.
Yeah.
This is when comfort food gets tasty. Foodies will love the more richness of the foods. They're stronger in flavor and a little bit higher in calories, but that's when I get tasty.
What's your favorite autumn food-a-majig?
I gotta confess, a lot of autumn foods are around mushrooms right now.
Ah, yeah, your shrooms, yeah.
Not big on mushrooms.
Oh, you're anti-shroom, are you really?
I try to eat them normally, but if it's a plate full of mushrooms, it's a bit of a battle for me.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
but I'm trying to recently tell me that they're actually supposed to be very, very healthy for you, and they're also apparently good for gut health.
Very good
So
for you.
if you have a gut that's a little bit more upset generally, then they are probably supposed to be good. So I'm trying to be an adult and eat them now. I
Good.
also don't like chestnuts, and I also don't like Mont Blanc, and I'm allergic to nuts. So this is not my bestest of season.
What's the second thing you said? Mont Blanc?
Mont Blanc, the one that we were talking about earlier, the
Oh,
chestnut
I'm
dish.
sorry. Okay, all right.
There's a lot of things that don't show so much that particularly are now absolutely everywhere. But I'd say everything, just try it at least once. Just try it at least once.
I love the sweet potatoes and the persimmon. These things are
Oh,
great.
the sweet potatoes are great. I first was, for me, as a German, we're a very big potato country. So first I was like, potatoes? What is this humbug kind of sweet potato? That is not a German potato.
It's a sour potato.
We have,
Sauerkraut.
we have different types of potato in Germany.
Oh, yeah?
We have like the flowery potato or the young potato. We have like a lot of different types of potatoes and they have names to us because we value and love our potatoes quite a lot.
Mein Kartoffel.
All the kartoffels. And well, how do I say that? Someone coming along with a sweet potato, I was not convinced until I started trying it.
Oh, yeah?
If a sweet potato has like a part in it that looks darker and more liquidy, that means it's like almost honey-like sweet.
Yeah, it's like caramelizes, doesn't it? Oh, it's great, mate.
Great.
Oh,
Dangerous stuff. It tastes very, very good.
It is slamming the old sweet potato. And the persimmons as well. There's persimmons, man. Really.
Yeah, so if you can come here during autumn in Japan, I'd say go. But actually one of the things also is, the best thing is probably to go to a ryokan. Because then you get the whole thing. You get the journey, you get the view, and then you get dozens and dozens of tiny dishes that are all themed around what's in season. Japanese people love theming things around in season.
And then you can also do your favorite thing, go to the onsen while you're there.
Exactly. And then if it's cold, the better. You hop into the onsen, warm up. I've seen also some places will do it. They will like dye some foods the colors of autumn as well.
Oh, all right.
Or try and include foods that have those colors, so it's good for the appetite. I've seen one, I don't know, it was some kind of wheat thing that they made look like a maple leaf that was changing color.
That's
like that
nice.
kind of bringing the autumn into your food.
Are there particular autumn alcohols?
The colder regions generally love drinking anyways to make it through the tough winters.
Because I think about it and I'm like, it's like something like vodka is made from potato. So therefore, if you have these particular harvests, maybe there's an alcohol that goes along with it, perhaps?
Isn't shochu made from some sort of potato?
I have no idea.
So imo jochu is from potato, so that I assume was going to be tasty right now. And then mugi is the type of wheat.
Yes.
So there's different alcohols based on the potatoes as well that are tasty during that time. But generally, because the rice is tasty, the actual Japanese sake, I think, is tasty.
Yes, of course.
And since you mentioned different alcohol types, this is actually the season when red wine is celebrated. Because the freshly harvested red wine is appearing in the shelves in the stores.
The old red. Good times.
The fresh red. It's I'm going to butcher some French here, excuse me. It's the Beaujolais Nouveau.
All right.
So the new wine.
Okay.
Generally, the thought is you have to let wine stand around for a while for it to get tasty.
Good point, yes.
But Japanese people love fresh and new things as well, so they're celebrating the reappearance of the fresh and new wine as well.
Well, that's good fun. They do love fresh and new things, don't they? Actually,
yeah,
it's a very trend-centric country.
Yeah, always the interest in something new. They also do like little festivals around that to celebrate fresh new wine is out. Probably the same thing as it happens with sake and similar things like that. Again, Japan is a country of farmers and fishers and such, and generally farmers. So to keep those traditions alive, there's a lot of traditions of everyone coming together and celebrating a good harvest and being grateful for a good harvest as well. So, ta-da! And now in our wonderful studio, we suddenly magically have appearing autumn foods. We have...
First thing first, we've got some persimmon!
Yes,
Yay!
Ladybeard's favorite. We have them in a little cup.
Persimmon. We've got a little cup of persimmon, which is nice. We have some imo, some sweet potato.
Real sweet potato, nice and hot. They even sell them like this in the supermarket. Smells of burnt potato in a good way.
I love it. And then this is very interesting. We've got some sweet potato chips.
Sweet potato flavored chips. And they're seasonal special. You can only eat them during the season. There are tons and tons of goods you can only eat during autumn here in Japan. So that is.
These ones have been coated in butter. The bag just smells like butter. Smell that?
Holy moly, that's sweet.
I'm going to stay away from that because I know what that butter's going to do to me.
Ruin your diet
but I will
straight away.
enjoy my persimmon and my sweet potatoes. It's going to be great. What will you consume?
I will probably start and go straight into the sweet potatoes while you dig into the persimmons.
All right, let's do it, baby. Here we go.
Whoa, you go first.
All right, eat the ducky must, my friends.
Go for it.
I love persimmon.
That has a nice crunchy sound to it as well.
Really nice, man. It's so juicy and sweet in the middle as well, in the center. Oh,
Now you're making me want to eat one of those too.
I love it.
See, persimmon is not the thing I would actually go for in a supermarket. I kind of ignore them every time I go in. But
so tasty. Oh.
How do you even explain that? It is not like an apple.
It's like an apple, but slightly different texture. It's kind of like halfway between an apple and an apricot with a different flavor.
That's a good explanation. Yeah, somewhere between apple and apricot. I get that.
In terms of texture, but the taste is its own taste. Getting some persimmon, people.
Okay, how do we split this thing? Because we don't have a way to split this. Could you, like, Ladybeard break this in half, the sweet potato? Do some of your strong moves.
The persimmon, especially when they get soft, they're so tasty. I highly recommend persimmon. Here we go, son, each. Oh, yeah. Which half of that would you like?
Steaming hot. Hold on, I'm gonna break this
All right.
very badly in half. So we have something to put it. Oh my god, this is hotter than I thought it would be.
Here we go. These smells great. Here we go.
Very
mate.
steamy.
Oh.
This just smells of like sugar and potato.
Sugar, you reckon?
Like a sweetness, like natural sweetness.
Oh, I see. Yeah, it's everyone can have a little look-see. There we are. It's like look, I'm assuming you all know what a sweet potato is.
I don't know. If it's like the darker it looks and the more honey it looks, it actually is really sweet. Like, I'm sorry, but in some countries, sweet potatoes are barely sweet. In Japan, they are really, really sweet.
Bang 'em.
Fun thing is, like, there's not many things Japanese people will just eat as is, like on the street or like just as is, but sweet potatoes seem to be the sweet exception of that. They're like, no, sweet potatoes, get your face in there. Give us a shokorepo feeling of it. I've burnt myself a lot of times on the sweet potato before.
Wonderful texture. Squishy, softy, melt in your mouth. Oh, delicious. It's an excellent source of productive carbohydrates if you're lifting weights as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's very good. It's one of the recommended sources of the old sweet potato. It's excellent.
I didn't know that. I also heard it has a lot of fiber. So for the ladies who are on a diet and they want to make sure that they have enough fiber in their diet, that's also a good thing. Well, you probably shouldn't be doing what I'm doing, which is like drowning it
Buttering
in
it up?
butter, because it's so tasty. Also, it's so sweet that the bottom of it is already sticky as if it's honey.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah, when these bits go dark like this is the natural sugar caramelizing. So great.
Are you allowed? How many of those would you be allowed, though, to eat? Are they actually like very
I'll eat
happy?
this, and that will be the end of my complex carbohydrates today.
Complex, good complex. What makes them so good as carbohydrates? Sorry, I'm asking you questions while you have like your mouth full of sweet potato.
These and so basmati rice are the best carbohydrates to eat if you're bodybuilding. I can't tell you exactly why my science isn't good enough, but something to do with the strains of the proteins or the what are they called, BCAAs or something like that. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But these are the ones that actually get you building muscle properly.
So they're almost guilt-free carbs then, in moderation, I assume.
Well, as long as eating carbs currently works with your set of goals. If you're trying to lose weight, then carbs are not great in any form.
Okay, so
you know what I'm saying?
But if you want something sweet and a bit carbolicious that is not the worst in the world,
well,
then
yeah,
you go for
sweet potato, hey. Very dense though, so you're going to get a lot of carbohydrates in the small quantities.
So only half of one.
Yeah, for me, thank you. Delicious.
Next time I'm going to go for those multicolored sweet potato chips. I'm sorry, I'm going to eat
Interesting how they come in purple.
Ooh.
NG?
I think after just having had the real deal of sweet potato, that kind of doesn't work. Because they tried to make it sweet and salty at the same time to recreate that feeling.
Oh, really?
And buttery, but I'm not, it's like fake sweet buttery flavor. After you have the real deal, nothing will really compare.
I'll try one. I'll have one of these purple ones.
I think the purple one is supposed to create the look of the outside. The skin outside is, I think it's brown, but sometimes it can be kind of purplish. The one that we have.
Well, it's mainly butter
brown.
as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it's pretty much butter, sugar, and salt flavor. Doesn't really taste that much of potato though. Chips. Real deal is better. Go to one. Even at the supermarkets, even at the stands with the old gentleman who was saying, "Oh, Emo," go there. Get one of the real deals in there.
Delicious, man, really.
All right. Well, those are some of the autumn treats. And we're going to now keep munching on those.
I am.
Exactly. We're going to do our sign off here and then. We wish you a delicious autumn. Our next episode is actually going to teach you more about what you definitely need to try and do when you come to Japan in autumn. So stay tuned for that on the next episode of Cat with Beard.
Bye-bye.
Yum, yum, yum.